good afternoon on what is a chilly, overcast and grey day. It is Tuesday, October the 26th, and I am back in the Nook with a cat who is not ours, and another release for Free RPG Day, which took place on Saturday the 16th of October. And of course I have with me, apart from the cat, a nice hot cup of tea. So, Free RPG Day took place last weekend. I hope you're able to make it, and basically at your friendly local gaming store which was participating. And even if you don't have one, do find a friendly gaming store. Many of them will do mail order and be able to supply you with the books that you want, including Fanboy 3, because I want to thank David Salisbury for providing these copies for me. Because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do this overview video, or indeed do a proper review of the book in due course. So, this is Victoriana, Going Underground, steampunk fantasy role-playing game in the etheric smoke of Victorian London, and it's from Cubicle 7. Super sleuths want to solve extraordinary mysteries. Grab your waistcoat, have your train ticket ready, and let's step into the bowels of London on an adventure you'll never forget. Find out more in the upcoming Victoriana Player's Guide and all of the exciting lines from Cubicle 7. Now, Cubicle 7 has a long and storied history. It's roughly 20 years old or so as a gaming property, originally developed by a local gamer here in the Midlands for, I believe, the Fusion system, and it can be seen essentially as what would happen if you took the world of Warhammer, all that sensibility, and set it in Victorian London. So beastmen, dwarves, elves, halflings, and so on. It's essentially a fantasy. I mean, it could also be seen as sort of like, Shadowrun, but in Victorian London also. Again, non-exact. Analogues, etc., copying straight across, but essentially similar setups, similar kind of style. But Victoriana is set in the archetypal steampunk setting, which is Victorian London. Got a number of supplements, including one for India, not much covered in role-playing, and a few adventures as well. So, you see, welcome to Victoriana. Hello, Gav. You all right? You took a mighty wallop in the noggin when you fell off that steam bike of yours. Must have been some serious scoundrel you were chasing. Hold on, aren't you that detective who caught the Fleet Street slasher? Didn't you solve the scandal of Lady Magnificent Bloody Jewel? Yeah, you're the one who stopped that evil demon summoner up on the Isle of Dogs. You're a right line, aren't you? Here, come on out the smoke. Have a cup of tea while I fix your head and regale me with the tales of the macabre. Yeah, sorry. This overview comes with an accent straight out of the Dick Van Dyke School of acting. So this is set in 1887, year of the Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, and it's a role-playing game with fantastic alternate history of Victorian London, using the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game as a foundation. So, basically, having gone from its own system, its own mechanics, or basically from Fusion to its own mechanics, and then now with this addition to D&D 5th edition, that's an interesting development. And essentially, this is an introduction to the world of Victoriana, including adventure and going underground, with pre-made characters. Consider this the prologue to the macabre mystery you'll unravel and scandalous stories you'll tell in Victoriana. Tales of demon summoning, perfidious cults, scandal, not necessarily in Bohemia, but other places too, and more. So we've got a description of the Big Smoke, London, citizens of London, explains essentially social class and lineage, and they've been changed for the classic ones you recognise from D&D. Essentially doing our adaptable lineage that forms the majority of the population, and they're equal to humans. Then we've got the puka or pucks are humans with traits like similar animals, such as prehensile tails, big faces, gills, claws, and furred skin. Okay, and so on. So we have different races in there, different lineages, and then we go on to a mechanised future and explaining what's going on, things like gadgeteering and clockworks and automatics or automata, and how magic is evolved, which is animism, basically derived from the other world, the home of the fake creatures that taught humanity to harness the quintessence of nature. Before we get on to the adventure itself, and this is accompanied by some really nice pieces of artwork. And again, that nicely captures the kind of the importance of technology in the setting, in the period. It's very Tesla-esque. So the adventure going underground, the city and South London subways expanding underground by digging deeper. This new tube will introduce electrically powered trains and a controversial single-piece fare that ignores class divisions. Not all Londoners are happy with these advances, and a saboteur intends to make their opinions known on the tube's inaugural journey. The associates, the player characters, are all aboard this first outing of the tube and becoming embroiled in the plot to sabotage the train and its macabre consequences. So that's great. I mean, basically, it's tied it into a major event, which is obviously Queen's Jubilee and the expansion of the London Underground, which, you know, it's a signature, sort of like a part of London even today. You know, it's you know, many cities have their own underground. Not quite like London, and you know, the other ones have their own character. New York, of course, does. So it's a 4-part adventure. So you know, it's taking you through from the disaster through discovering what's going on, the ride of a lifetime, and then Lost in a Labyrinth to the part 4, the resolution. I've got basically explanation of the skills as well in the game, and the cast. And here are the pre-generated characters. You have Conquer, a small fae, Alistair Timms, medium Murloc Valet, Beverley Aston, medium Duan Clerk, Dame Penelope Minmot, noble, Sir Dudley Walling, engineer, and so on. Let's have a look. And they are all they're the NPCs, and then we've got the actual proper player characters here. So we've got Adelaide Finch, bourgeoisie, sleuth, Theodore Gatesley, noble, confidant, Sam Ermacher, Puck Gadgeteer. So there we go. Nice illustrations for each of these, and then the last one is Charlotta Arathor, proletariat animist, and basically description of the stats and skills, how much magical quintessence they've got, and the actions they can typically take as part of their various abilities. So yeah, essentially everything you need to play. You've got a copy of the Player's Handbook. You can get going with this, and obviously you just need the dice. So yeah, that's 4 players, and that probably is going to give you sort of a good taste of what Victoriana is like in a single session. And hopefully I will get around to reviewing this, and even possibly the Victoriana Player's Guide when it's released in due course. Be interesting to return to the setting, because I've reviewed previous books for it sometime in the past, and sort of go back and again have a sort of bit of a history with. So, thank you again for watching this basically unboxing overview of another free RPG Day title. Hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please do click the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you posting those, and I do take the time to respond and read them. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more videos from me, whether that's an unboxing in the Nook standard one, which I post every day, or a free RPG Day title overview, which I'm posting as doing one of those a day for as long as I have these to hand. Okay, where essentially you will be alerted to basically that I posted another video, or where you'll see me basically unpack or basically show off a new book or game, and talk about it to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. And sometimes accompanied by a cat who is not ours. Then please do hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Bye for now.